What's up everybody, it's 𝐒𝐨𝐽 bringing you the awesomeness of today and beyond. As promised, this is one of many video tutorials that I am working on and will be placing them on the tutorial playlist on my channel. For this tutorial, this is going to be the first of many tutorials for the SEGA Genesis troubleshooting series. The focus of this video will be how to clean and take care of your SEGA Genesis controller D-pad. Now, I have received this little guy along with my other SEGA Genesis broken consoles off eBay. I must say that I'm not too pleased with how this D-pad controller was packed up. I get it, this is to be expected when picking up random used electronic junk off eBay or in a local flea market. However, there are times I just wish people that do want to get rid of their old electronic devices, regardless of what it is, to at least take a few minutes and just pack things up nicely, especially by taking care of the wire cord of an electronic device. As you can see, the way this thing is wrapped up is just ridiculous, and I have seen a lot of D-pads like this, whether it is for the SEGA Genesis, SNES, NES, PlayStation 2, etc, etc. This is just a pure nightmare for the person that is receiving this item or any items that is alike regardless. The reason is because this kind of tying and wrapping up your D-pad or a cord in general adds a lot of tension to the wire cord, which in the end will create a loose connection to the PCB board, and this D-pad will create a wire break somewhere in the middle. So I'm going to show you what I think is the best way to wrap up your D-pad controller the right way without having to create tension on your D-pad wire connection, and it will give your controller a lot longer life. After that, we will jump into the cleaning process. So buckle up, take some notes down, and enjoy. Let's get started. First up, we need to untangle this blasphemy of a wrapped up D-pad controller. Ugh, oh dear, oh dear. Alright, that looks good. The cable is disgustingly dirty, so I'm just going to grab some Windex and apply some of that to a sponge cloth and give this cable a good clean, just to remove any kind of dirt from it. I might as well go ahead and clean the surface of the controller because there's a lot to clean up from here. Okay, that looks good. Now before I get started, this is how I like to wrap up my cable cords for my controllers regarding which controller. It could be the Super Nintendo, Genesis, Master System, whatever. I like to go ahead and give an extension like so, and then from there I start to go ahead and wrap things up like this. Now the reason why I like to do this is because this way it helps to give the controller a lot longer life, and you are making sure that you're not damaging the wires between the motherboard or just about anywhere. From there, I would go ahead and grab some rubber band, and finally I'll take another rubber band and just go ahead and apply it like so. That's it. That's all there is to it. That's how I like to wrap up my controller, and honestly this gives your controller a lot longer lifespan. Okay, let's get more into the cleaning because there's a lot to cover on here, because we just started to scratch the surface. Let's keep going. So now we need to go ahead and unscrew this D-pad, and there are a total of 6 screws that we need to get rid of. I'm not going to go ahead and let you guys watch through the whole me unscrewing the controller, so I'll go ahead and skip that part right now. now that all the screws are removed, I want you guys to pay attention right here regarding the wires and how the design is supposed to be when it comes from the manufacturer. You see those little plastics that basically holds the wire intact with the motherboard, but at the same time, when say you drop your D-pad or you pull it, those plastic things are there to go ahead and help prevent, damage to the motherboard. But then you also have to understand that over time, because of how old this controller, the more you add tension to this area, it creates damage to the wires. The cables can be loose, so that's why it is always important to go ahead and give a little bit more line to your wires and then wrap it up. You don't want to wrap it up like at the very base, just give it a little bit more tail and you're good to go. So now that we have removed the motherboard, let's go ahead and remove the buttons and the pads. I mean, everything is just dirty. From here, before I continue on, I like to go ahead and take just the shells of the D-pad and I'm gonna go and rinse them with soap and water and let them dry all the way through. So I'll be right back. So now the D-pad controllers are going to dry up on their own. Let's just go ahead and clean up the PCB board. So for this you will need some cotton swabs, well actually a lot of them, and you will also need some isopropyl alcohol. Now you want to make sure that you're not using anything else that has a more water and less alcohol, because water will cause corrosion and you don't want to cause corrosion on your PCB board. So just go to any hardware electronic store and just pick up some isopropyl alcohol and you're good to go. So once you spray a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, it doesn't matter, it could be on the cotton swab or the PCB board. From here, you want to take your time with it and take all the time that you needed, because this is going to take a while. So tackle each area within the PCB board and just clean it up all the way through, like so. And the process is going to take a while, so I'm not going to go ahead and show it all the way through. So I will be fast forwarding this video just so you guys can have an idea to what the end result should be like. And then once we're done with the PCB board, we go ahead and tackle the buttons. Now I have some buttons that are somewhat dirty, but others, like this start button right here, is extremely dirty, and I'm gonna go ahead and take my time with it and just clean it all the way through. Alright, that looks about good. I mean, there's no way for me to go ahead and get rid of it and have it all the way clear, so this is good. As long as there's no feel of stickiness or, that sticky stuff like Coke and whatnot you get off a D-pad. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that stuff, so this is good. To me, this is good. After that, let's tackle the other buttons, and as you can see, some of the buttons are a little bit dirty, and yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and clean those up as well. Take our time with it one by one. Alright, so now all of our buttons and pads are cleaned up. Let's go back to the controller shells and see what else we can do with it. Here are the shells, and as you can see, there are a few dings and scratches. What I like to do here is I like to go ahead and give this controller clamshell a good polish. And the best polish for this thing is something called plastics, which is basically a car polish. Like literally, I'm using car polish on this thing, and you will see a major difference. I mean, not so much because I'm doing it by hand. However, if I was to have a rotary tool with a cotton piece on it and just keep on at it, it will be really good, but you will see some results right here. Take a little bit of plastics and just dab it on the controller and just keep on, going in a circle motion like so. Trust me right here, you're going to be taking a lot more time and this requires patience, but you will be rewarded, I guarantee it. Okay, that looks about good. I'm going to go ahead and tackle the other shell as well, the back, and let's keep on going. Alright, now both of our case covers for the controller are nicely polished. The next thing I like to use is something called Ultimate Black, and what this is going to do is bring the black of the plastic more out. So any place that there's black is going to bring that black color more, it's just going to make it more pop out. Also, it will remove a little bit of the dings and scratches, but yeah, this is what I like to use. Let's get started and you will see the difference. So after 15 minutes or so, and it really does require an elbow grease, like a good elbow grease right here, you can clearly see a real major difference here. I mean, sure, it's not, in comparison if I was to use a rotary tool, but for a manual handwork, this is not bad. This is actually pretty good. Okay, that's about it. So let's go ahead and wrap this up and just put this whole D-pad back together in lickety split. Let's put it really fast. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this video, watch it in action. There you have it, folks. This is how I like to take care of my D-pad controller, whether it is for the SEGA Genesis, SNES, NES, PlayStation, etc. In my opinion, with this method, you're giving a lot more long life to your favorite controller D-pad. If you have any suggestions on how to improve this method, feel free to leave your comments on this video. And if you happen to learn anything from this video, kindly hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more upcoming video goodness on troubleshooting your favorite video game console. Keep in mind that I'm taking things step by step here until we get down to more complicated fixes. However, if you are curious to know what I have been tinkering with lately, you can have a good idea to my future tutorials by keeping a lookout to my Instagram account or my Twitter account, as I like to go ahead and post instant updates, mods, and tweaks over there. This is 𝐒𝐐𝐢𝐴 signing off, and I'll catch you guys next time.